Alrighty. We should be live. Let me. Give me a minute. Okay, should be live here. Should be live. Should be live. Alrighty, should be live here. Everything should be working correctly. I don't know if I'm POV with MLB News. Jeez, that's hilarious. Oh, jeez, I need to edit the name. Okay. We're live here, as you can see by the title of today's live stream, I guess. We're doing my NBA playoff predictions. So, yeah, that's what I'm going to do today. So, yeah, leave a like on this stream, subscribe, and turn on notifications because a lot of you that watch these videos are not subscribed. So, get your life together. Hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and leave a like. And let's go ahead and get into this video with my NBA playoff predictions. All right, so we're going off the current standings. We're not doing any play-in games or anything because the play-in games I'm not a big fan of at all. I'm just not a big fan of the play-in games. So yeah, we are going to that's what we're gonna do. So let's go ahead and start here. Let's go ahead and start with the East. The Sixers versus the Knicks in the first round here. This is a matchup here interesting because the Knicks are a sneaky team here that play very good defense, but the Sixers have played so well this season with Tobias Harris playing well and Joel Embiid playing like an MVP candidate before he got injured, and Ben Simmons too. And they're just a really good overall around team. Along with Danny Green, who can shoot the ball pretty well, as well. And like they're overall just a very, very good team. And like this Sixers team, I think definitely has a chance at winning the NBA championship, if I'm being honest. So for the Sixers here, I think that they do beat the Knicks in the first round. Yeah, I think they beat the Knicks in the first round, if I'm being honest. Next is the Nets versus the Celtics here. The Celtics have been disappointing, and getting a seventh seed is disappointing to Boston Celtics fans. Very understandable there why it would be so disappointing to Boston Celtics fans. Because honestly, it's just not been too good of a season for this team, if I'm being honest. And for the Nets here, you've got James Harden, Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant. Your big man defense is kind of a little questionable, but Nicholas Claxton looks to be the answer there. But they can still beat the Celtics with Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. And besides that, the Celtics pretty much have nothing, if I'm being honest. They just really don't have much after that. So, yeah. Next, I think I'm going to go with the Nets here. I think this is going to be a good series, but I just think that the Nets win. Bucks Hornets here. Now, as a Hornets fan, I'd love to pick the Hornets, but I just don't know if I can do that exactly because this is kind of a nightmare scenario for the Hornets here. Without LaMelo Ball and Gordon Hayward, their two best players, and the Bucks have Giannis, and the Hornets don't have good defense at all in the middle with Cody Zeller. He's not very good defensively, or really average, honestly. And you've got PJ Washington there as well. But like without LaMelo, without Gordon Hayward, they're really in a tough scenario. But maybe they could be back by the playoffs. But like I said, we're doing what if the NBA ended right now today. So if it ended right now today, I definitely think it's the Bucks that wins. Hawks Heat here. Now I am not a big fan of Trae Young. I don't think that his playoff experience is going to be very good in the playoffs, and I just don't. I don't think that it's going to be very good at all in the playoffs for him. I think Hawks fans might think that Trae Young's going to be better right off than he will be. For the Heat, they have much more playoff experience, going all the way to the NBA Finals just a season ago. They have Bam Adebayo, Jimmy Butler, Tyler Hero, newly traded for Victor Oladipo as well, who's not been too good so far, but he could still be valuable, whether that's at the point guard position or whatever. So he could still be valuable at the deadline, if I'm being honest. So or not at the deadline, you know what I mean. But for the Hawks here, there's not a lot of playoff experience on this kind of young team with John Collins and Trae Young. There's just not a lot of playoff experience there. So for this team, I think I'm going to go with the Heat here. Um, the Heat, I think, have more playoff experience and are just the overall better team. Moving on to the second round of the Eastern Conference, I've got Sixers Nets, which is going to be such a good series here. Now, the Sixers are definitely better defensively, but as far as the Nets, they are great offensively, and that can win them games right there. If I'm being honest, that can win them a lot of games right there. And the Sixers versus Nets will be a very good series. Joel Embiid will definitely dominate in this series, considering the fact that they just really have nobody to guard him defensively, like Nicholas Claxton, DeAndre Jordan. None of those are going to. It's just not going to happen. Now, I am a little concerned about the Nets with the fact that James Harden, Kyrie Irving, and Kevin Durant really haven't played together very much so far in their time together in Brooklyn. So that is a little bit concerning. But overall, this Nets team is very, very good. Now, for the Sixers, they've played together pretty much all season with Embiid, Harris, and Simmons. Now, if you look at the bench here, Dinwiddie's not going to be back, so the bench is kind of a bit questionable here. Uh, the bench is kind of iffy. So, yeah, um, the bench is quite a bit iffy here, but I still – this Nets offense is very, very good, but I just don't know. This is a tough one here. Sixers Nets. I think I'm going to I feel like the Nets also don't have a lot of experience too. Oh my. Um, Jeez Louise. What in the world is going on here? Because this is like freezing up a ton. I don't know what's going on here. It's good on my end. I don't know about. Okay. Yeah, everything's fine. Okay. Alrighty. So now we are going to move on to the Bucks versus Heat here, which I think is a very interesting matchup. Or I never said my 76ers Nets winner. I think I'm going to go with the Sixers here. I the exciting pick, but why not the Sixers? Bucks Heat here. The Bucks have Drew Holiday. They have Giannis. They have Chris Middleton. I don't know that Drew Holiday or Chris Middleton is a championship type number two compared to the Heat, who have Jim Oladipo, Hero, Adebayo as their number two. Like they've got all those top players as their number two, and I don't know that Drew Holiday is a very good player. I'm not trashing Drew Holiday here. I'm just simply saying. But I mean, Bucks Heat. I mean, the Heat have what it takes to defend Giannis, and they just have what it takes. And I think they have what it takes to beat the Bucks. Now in the conference finals game, we have got the number 1 76ers versus the number 5 Heat here. Now the Sixers are in a good position here, but Bam Adebayo can really, really do. He can really, really be good versus Bam Adebayo, in my opinion. Very, very good. Very so. Heat Sixers. I like the Heat shooting with Duncan Robinson, Tyler Hero. I like the defense as well with Oladipo, Butler, Adebayo. I like the Sixers though a lot too. I think it comes down to more playoff experience here, and I think I probably have to go with the Heat here if I'm really thinking about more playoff experience here, if I'm being honest. Next is the Jazz versus the Grizzlies in the Western Conference. Jazz versus Grizzlies. I don't know what the Grizzlies are without Jaren Jackson Jr., and right now they would be without Jaren Jackson Jr., if I'm not mistaken. So the Jazz, I think, do move on here. They've been playing such good basketball with Mike Conley, Donovan Mitchell, all those players. They've been playing so good recently. Same thing goes with the Phoenix Suns here versus the number 7 Mavericks. I think that the Mavericks will be competitive with Kristaps Porzingis and Luka Doncic, obviously. But for the Suns, like you've got Devin Booker, Chris Paul, Mikal Bridges. Like you've really got a ton of defense that's really good here. So I think I'm gonna go with the Suns. Number 3 Clippers versus number 6 Blazers. I think I'm going to go the Clippers here. Yes, they choked in the playoffs last year, but I don't know how much I can take that into account anymore. With the Los Angeles Clippers. The Blazers here, they're just kind of stuck in the middle. They're kind of there in the middle, like they're going to make the playoffs, but besides that, I don't really know what they're going to do. Next, the Lakers Nuggets. The Nuggets got terrible news this morning. Jamal Murray is out with a torn ACL for the rest of the season. That is not good news for this team. That kind of rules them out, in my opinion. I think this would be such a good series if Jamal Murray is still healthy. I think this would be such a good series. But the Lakers with LeBron and AD just are too much here, especially without Jamal Murray. They're going to lose 20-plus points per game of scoring here. And, yeah. So, now we're down to 4 teams in the West. And I mean, you've got Jazz Suns here. I think the Suns do lack postseason experience here, which is big. They do lack some postseason experience. But then you've got the Jazz, who don't have a ton of postseason experience, but they have the postseason experience in the bubble from last year. And the Jazz here, they've been playing such good basketball. I think I'm going to go with Utah here. Clippers Lakers here, the series we've all been waiting for. Clippers Lakers. Now the Clippers choked last year. I'll have to see if Paul George, if he's that same player in the playoffs, and I think the Lakers are the easy pick here to win. But yeah, so Lakers here. I mean, Jazz Suns too was, I think, is going to be a good series. Clippers Lakers though, this is the series, like I said, we've all been waiting for. But here's the thing, Clippers Lakers. I think that there's nobody on this Clippers team that can defend Anthony Davis. I really don't. I don't think that there's anybody that can. I mean, LeBron and Kawhi is going to be a great matchup. But I think it's going to be very interesting who wins. And I think at the end of the day, the Lakers are going to win this series. And could Kawhi leave after this? That's very possible. I predicted him to go to the Knicks in my 2021 way too early NBA free agent predictions. If you haven't saw that video yet, make sure you go check that out. But I think the Lakers are going to win. So we're down to 2 teams in each conference, 76ers Heat, and you've got the Jazz and Lakers. Now, the Lakers and Jazz, I think it's a good matchup with Rudy Gobert and Anthony Davis. As good as Rudy Gobert is defensively, I think that this is a very interesting matchup here. You've also got the Suns here, or the Suns are out by now. Lakers, Jazz, though. I mean, the Jazz are a very good team, but I don't know that they can beat LeBron and the Lakers. Like, the Lakers are still a very good team. Montrezl Harrell really hasn't played too great so far this season, and if he can be good, that just boosts the Lakers even more to be a better team, if I'm being honest. Like, even more. And this Jazz-Lakers series, I think it's probably going to go to 7 games, but I'll take Los Angeles, the Lakers. Moving on to the NBA Finals versus the Sixers or Heat. Now, Sixers here are a team that does lack a little bit of postseason experience, but they still have some pretty decent postseason experience. They all got postseason experience last year. But versus the Heat, like, Oladipo's not been very good, and if he continues this performance in the playoffs, then that's going to hurt the Heat a lot in the series versus the 76ers. And if Hero's not too good either, Hero and Robinson are both going to be good shooters. But besides that, I think Hero mainly has got to just contribute more, if I'm being honest. He's got to contribute more. And if he's not able to contribute more, then that is a big loss for this team, for this Heat team here. And, I mean, I think this is such a good series. But 76ers Heat here, I think that it comes down to, like, 7 games. I do. I think both series comes down to 7 games. And I don't really know. I think that Joel Embiid might get a pretty tough time here. a pretty tough time. But I also could see a idea to where he doesn't. I could see an idea to where Joel Embiid is still just this good. He's just this good. And nobody can really do anything about it. So, yeah, but I mean, Oladipo helps the Heat a ton. If he could play well, like that just helps him so much more. If I'm being honest, a lot more. But Sixers Heat here, very interesting matchup. Um, I mean, it is. It's a very interesting matchup. So yeah, very interesting matchup here. Um, but I mean, let's. I mean, I don't know because the Sixers Heat I don't have in front of me how they played versus each other this season. So that's kind of a bummer there. But yeah, so yeah, um, Sixers Heat though. I just don't know who wins this series. I think it's such an even matchup. If you could, and you could say either way. I do think at the point guard position versus Ben Simmons, I don't think there's really anybody that's going to be able to guard him at all. And Matisse Thybulle on the wing is going to be a good defender for this team. And overall, I think that it's going to be not a bad series at all for this team. And yeah, um, so now let's pick a winner. So let's pick a winner here. You've got the Sixers Heat. I think I'm going to go with the Sixers. Why not? I can't pick the same NBA Finals again. Like, that's just not going to work. It's just not going to work. So yeah. Um, so let's go ahead and go to the NBA Finals here. And we've got the Lakers versus 76ers. I think that's my matchup. If if the season ends right now. So the NBA Finals, like I said, Sixers Lakers here. Um, so so the Lakers here probably way more postseason experience on this team with Anthony Davis, LeBron, blah blah blah. But this is a tough matchup. Um, so I just don't know who wins this series. Like it's a tough matchup for who wins this series, in my opinion. But let's. I think I'm going to go with the Lakers here. I think the Lakers probably do go back to back here. I think that's probably what everybody's going to say, but still, I think that the Lakers will probably end up winning it again, especially if they can stay healthy with LeBron and AD. If they can stay healthy, then I mean, I think it's going to be another Lakers win. Now, some teams that could make the playoffs in a potential postseason. Um, I mean, the Spurs and Warriors are the two teams out of it right now that will be in the playoff playing games right now. But I don't think that the Spurs have much of a chance, nor do I really think that the Warriors have much of a chance. They're a Steph Curry led show, if I'm being honest. Pacers and Bulls in the East, I think that the Bulls have a good chance. Yes, they've not been playing very well since the Vucevic trade, but still. And you've got the 9th seed Pacers. The Pacers, I don't know if they have much of a chance either. I could see a world where they beat the Knicks or the Celtics to get into the NBA playoffs. So yeah, those are my NBA playoff predictions if the season ends right now. So we're talking about season ends right now. And yeah, so okay, so you should still be able to hear me. Hopefully you are. Um, but what if the NBA season ended today? I think the Lakers still win. Obviously, you may not have LeBron and AD to start the playoffs. I didn't even think of that. Oh man. I mean, it's not going to end right now, so it doesn't really matter. But I still, I mean, LeBron and AD are probably going to be back in just a couple of weeks. So, I mean, by the time the playing games end, then they will probably still be able to, too. So, yeah, I think that it probably is going to be the Lakers again. But once again, I could be wrong. I don't know. Make sure you check out my way too early free agent predictions from the other day. It was uploaded the other day. So yeah, make sure you go check out that video. Yeah, hope you enjoy the stream. We've went for like 26 minutes now, so yeah. So I mean, there are some teams that could make the playoffs here. I wouldn't be surprised if you told me that that teams made the playoffs, but I think that it's probably realistic that this is what happens. I mean, the playing games, I'm not too big of a fan of, like I mentioned earlier. I'm not too big of a fan of the playoff play-in games, just for the simple reason that, I mean, they just don't really. I just not a big fan. Not a big fan at all. So yeah, those are my NBA playoff predictions if the season ended right now. So yeah, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications, because a lot of you that watch these videos are not subscribed. So get your life together, hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and leave a like. And yeah, that's the end of the live stream. If you want to see more live streams, like I said, like, subscribe, turn notifications, and maybe there will be more live streams in the future. Yeah. So yeah. I've got Lakers Sixers in the NBA Finals if it ended right now. So yeah. The Nuggets, I think, are kind of done. I think they were one of those playoff contenders in the West, but I don't think they are now, especially with Jamal Murray being out for the season. I think that that's pretty unrealistic that they do much of anything. Now, I still think that they can compete with the Lakers with the new addition, Aaron Gordon and stuff, but I just think that you can't really replace that with like they're a backup point guard, especially considering there's nobody on the buyout market. You can't trade for anybody, which maybe it looks stupid now that they didn't trade for Kyle Lowry or Lonzo Ball, but they didn't trade for them. Maybe it looks like a dumb decision, and I think that production, I don't know. I think Kyle Lowry definitely could, but I don't know that Lonzo Ball can produce the amount of points that Jamal Murray does, if I'm being honest. I just don't. So, yeah. Yeah. Nuggets are kind of done. That's one contender out there. The Clippers, you never really know with them. They're kind of up in there, if I'm being honest. But besides that, the Hawks, I don't really. I mean, I think here's the thing. Let's go ahead and get it down to the teams that I really think are in title contention. Which I think there's 3 teams in the East, most likely. As much as I would like to be biased and say the Hornets, but I'm not. It's the Sixers, Nets, or Bucks. One of those teams I could about guarantee will come out of the East. But I mean, for the West, you've got the Lakers, Clippers, Jazz. Those are probably all real contenders, if I'm being honest. So yeah, those are probably all the actual contenders in both conferences. So, like I said, Nuggets are pretty much done. They're a contender, obviously, or they were a contender. I think they're kind of done with the Jamal Murray injury. I don't really think that Jamal Murray is that great of a player. I just think that it's the scoring production that he does provide for this team. So yeah, that's going to be the end of the live stream. If you enjoyed it, make sure you leave a like, subscribe, turn on notifications. Because a lot of you, like I said, are not subscribed, so get your life together. Hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, leave a like. Those are my playoff predictions if the NBA season ended today. So yeah, thank you for watching. And yeah, that's gonna be the end of this live stream.